On my journey to become the best version of myself during quarantine, I interviewed guests who gave their life experiences and expertise on love to finances and everything in between. Join me to learn a thing or two on becoming the best version of you with Gigi Show. So, my name is G, and this is Becoming the Best Version of You with G. And tonight's topic is side chicks. To be or not to be? That is the question. We live in a society now that we are most unfortunately familiar with the term, and some have participated knowingly and some have participated unknowingly. And I can't say I participated knowingly because homie, don't play that. I know my worth. So I do not condone that willingly. Now, if I was a side chick, I was not aware of it. And when I maybe thought that I was, I removed myself from that situation. Or when I was propositioned to be, I removed myself from that situation. And I'll get more into the story in a little bit. So, hi, Aunt Sheila. Hi, Uncle Kobe. And so, for those of you who do not know what side chick means, and you would have to live on Mars not to know what side chick means. So, I am going to tell you in definition what a side chick is. So a side chick is considered to be a mistress. She is a woman who dates a man who has a girlfriend already or has a wife. And in some cases, she knows this. And in some, like I said, she does not. A female who is romantically involved, who is easygoing, who some have described her to be a jump off, a home wrecker, a slut, or other derogatory names, or even described as an immoral woman. Now, there are other names I know that people refer, a side piece or side chick as, and I will not say those words because God is still working on, my mouth. And so I would have you guys say it in the chat, but I'm kind of nervous that y'all might say some real bold stuff, even though this whole thing is bold anyway. But I don't think I'm going to ask you to do that. I will ask you to do stuff because it's going to be a little interaction. So I recently learned that not recently learned, but well, I guess you could say that. I guess I didn't know the name of it, I should say, but there's also side chicks and then there's also side guys. And I was like, oh, okay. It's a formal name, to it. So what is a side guy? Okay. Because we live in a different society today, and which in this society, men are more so known to be the one that have an extra side piece of chicken on the side, an extra fat on the side. And, women, most of us, do not. But there are some that do, they're like, two can play this game. If you can have a side piece, I can have a side guy. So I'm like, okay. And so what is a side guy? For those who do not know, I am about to tell you. A side guy is a female secondary male option in a relationship. He's the secondary guy. He is neither her boyfriend or her husband. He is usually someone who fulfills a void in a current relationships in terms of emotional support, venting, and in some situations for sex. For the side guy, he is not relied on or asked to fall in love with her. But she, of course, cannot control that. You can't really control who falls in love with you. But that's not her primary goal of having him around. And so her husband or her boyfriend does not know of this side guy, just like in most cases, the wife doesn't know or the girlfriend doesn't know about the side chick. And he is used for the feeling of safety, stability, security in her life. And at the moment, she could potentially promote the side guy to be her husband or her boyfriend, or cut ties altogether. Just like it is basically a male version of a side chick in a nutshell. And so recently, and I hate to go here, but it's all over, the media about Jada and her husband Will. And apparently she had a side guy and Will, knew about it. And so, they're working out their drama right now. Some have said that, he has had his fair share of side pieces, but I don't really get into people's business like that because I have my own problems I'm trying to work out. So I wish them well, but that is an example of a side guy. And unfortunately, it looks like in an interview that he fell in love with her. And as I said, that's a no-no when you playing that type of game. You're not supposed to fall in love with them. And I want to say to the side chicks that, and that's mainly what this conversation is about, that we are not wired like men. We're not wired like them. We are emotional beings. Guys are more physical, okay? And it is girls who play the role and act like, they can be intimate with a guy without catching feelings. And the girl who can pull that off, because that's not how we wired, she's been through some stuff. She's been through some stuff, and her heart has hardened, and she may have grown a little cold, so that she's able to pull it off. But typically, we're not able to do that because women are emotional, and we easily fall in love. Our heart leads us. And sometimes it leads us to the wrong guy. In some cases, it leads us to the right guy. But in this situation, this conversation, it leads us to the wrong guy. Okay. Now, I talked to a few women who were side pieces. And I have heard from guys who has had a side piece. And let me describe what I was told the guy who has a side piece, what he is considered as. He is considered as being unfaithful, deceitful, a liar, a manipulator, a controller. Some have related him as being fool's gold. He betrays not just the wife, but the side piece as well, and has some insecurities. He has some deep insecurities, and he operates in this power of being able to control, both scenarios. Now there is two types of situations here when we talk about side chicks. You can have one that is physical, and then you can have another relationship who gives you, of course, physical pleasure. Now, I have been told that the emotional attachment is just as bad or worse than the physical, and it's harder to come out of. And so I myself was involved in a situation and I didn't know it. And I was involved in an emotional attachment. The gentleman was married. He was a family friend, and I had known him for like 20 plus years. No, absolutely no intention of, having any romantic feelings towards this person. But this is why I don't think that it's good for married people to have friends with single people. I don't believe in it, because we're human beings and somebody's going to be attracted to somebody. Somebody's eventually will want to pursue the other. And in most cases, it's the guy, because you guys are predators by nature. And, you see something shiny and pretty and you want it. You know what I mean? And so this particular gentleman, again, not knowing that this was happening, really, I didn't. I just enjoyed hearing his stories. I enjoyed, he was a family friend, so of course I didn't think nothing of it. And he would travel all over the world, and he would tell me, where he took his wife and where he took the kids. And it was just, he was innocent. I kind of looked at him as like a father figure because of the big age gap. And so I would tell my girlfriends, I said, you know what? I think there is something going on. And they would be like, oh God, Mary, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can't put my finger on it, but I really feel like something is going on, other than, this regular being a friend of the family type of situation. And so, they didn't pay me any never mind. It was like, yeah, Mary. Okay, whatever. Until one day he chased me up the stairs and confessed his feelings towards me. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what to do. I went in a room and slammed the door, because I was in shock, because I was telling my friends that I thought something was going on. He had never, said anything inappropriate. He had never made any, known advances. You know what I'm saying? No, mine's not Uncle Joe. And so, and so I was kind of shocked that what I thought really was, what I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to get away from him. I had to go to therapy and ask the therapist. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? And she had to explain to me, she's my relationship therapist, because I didn't know the difference between being in love and loving somebody. Because, I didn't have the best example, growing up. Yes, I said it. And so I had some things I had to work out and sort through, you know what I mean? And so she had to inform me that, Mary, that was emotional attachment. And I was like, oh my gosh, and so I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, you have to break communication with him, because you guys apparently have caught feelings for each other. And like I said, I am nobody's side piece, because I do know my worth. But I tell you that story to say that this is an example of why I don't believe in married people having friends. And whether it's a male to female, female to male, whatever the combination is, you have to be careful with that. And especially, in a common place like where you work. I was dating a guy, and he told me about, a work wife. And I'm like, work wife? I'm like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why, you have to be careful, because somebody is definitely going to. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just the nature. Thank you, Michelle. It's just the hey, Michelle. It's just the nature of the beast. That we're human. You know what I mean? And so we're attracted to each other. So you have thanks, Mom. So you have to be careful, y'all. And so the whole thanks, and so the whole having a friend at work, bringing your man lunch, going walking across the street to the store, or having, one of my ex, used to work out with a girl every day at work, and I'm like, I don't think I feel comfortable with that, because I'm a female and I know how we are. You know what I'm saying? After a while, she is going to, my mother's like, who is the guy? I'm not telling you, Mom. At least not on here. You know who it is. And so anyway, I don't believe in that. So be careful, y'all. And when I was married and I was with my ex, about 18 years. And when we were married, I would get hit on more when I was married than when I was single back then anyway. And I couldn't believe it. And the main thing they asked was, can you have a friend? No. The answer is no. You cannot have a new friend. No, you cannot. Not of the opposite sex. Because that friendship going to turn into something else. And then you're going to be in a situation. And then you might be his side piece. You know what I'm saying? Or he might end up being your side guy, So don't even put yourself in that predicament. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, y'all. It's not. And so I want to talk about why a female, a side chick, and this is information I was told from a former side chick herself. I said, why'd you do it? What made you do it? And so she told me, and this is from a couple of girls. She told me that she was lonely. She said that it was convenient. She said that it came with gifts and perks. She said that she can enjoy them and then send them back home. She said that she didn't have to cook or clean for him. And she said that, the sex was good, And so I later asked her, did you have any regrets? What was it? Was it everything that, was it everything? Thank you, Ajua. Was it everything that you wanted it to be? And she said no. She said no. And of course I wasn't surprised she said no, because that situation, it can get nasty. It can get ugly. And so what happens is, like I said earlier, girls, begin to catch feelings, and then it becomes this competition with the wife and the side chick, who's going to win them? Who's better than who can do this and that better? Baby girl, it's no competition. The wife already got them. She already won them. She already won the cheating and a lying son of a bliggity blank. He really not the prize anyway, but he's hers nonetheless. He not yours. You know what I'm saying? And so when a side chick agrees to be a side chick, especially if she knows she is going to be a side piece, she is basically telling him that I am okay only getting 30% of attention from you. She is saying I am okay having 30% of love from you. She is saying I am okay with 30% of your time. And she may or may not say that verbally, but that's what she's okaying. That's what she's okaying. And so he begins to listen to her. He begins to study her. He begins to figure out what it is that she needs. And then he becomes that for her. And of course, the reason why he's doing that is so that he can get exactly what he wants out of her. And then once he's finished, you know what he does? Boop, discards her. Did you know, and this tripped me out right here. Did you know that, okay, there's the wife, the side chick, and then it can be a side chick to the side chick? I was like, what? That's a lot of nerve, y'all. That's a lot. He out, that dude who do that, out cold. He out cold. He out cold. And so he also a loser. Let me say that. He out cold. Because he know what he doing. And he hurting a lot of people along the way. He's stringing them along is what he's doing. And when I asked the guy, you know, what did they do it for? They did it because she was easy. She was easy. She wasn't stressful. He had, you know, whatever kind of sex he wanted to have with her that he may or may not be able to have with his wife. He didn't have to give up much, you know, and so he becomes manipulative and you know, lie and deceit and betrayal. Not just like I said earlier, the wife, he's doing the same thing to the side chick. Let me put this out here. If you think that if you see, I should say, that he is unfaithful to his wife, do you really believe if you got him, he gonna be faithful to you? Let me answer that for you. H to the no. He not. Just how you got him is exactly how you gonna lose him. It's exactly how you gonna lose him. Some people say once a cheater, always a cheater. You know, I'm kind of like this on that one. You know, for some guys, absolutely. If he a dog like that, yeah, that's who he is. But for some who are not narcissistic, and you know, was friends with somebody and got too close, you know, and got caught up, and it happened one time, and he totally regretted it, and he just, you know, couldn't handle it, couldn't believe he did it, and changed his ways, and never saw the girl again, never talked to her again, never cheated again, and was faithful and committed to his wife the rest of his days. You know, I do think those stories happen also. But then it's also a guy, you know, that shoe does fit him. Once a cheater, always a cheater. So, you know, hopefully you don't even have to cross that bridge. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to decipher which one he is, because you know what his character is, you know, before you get with him. You know, you look at the signs. Sometimes I'm all off my notes, but sometimes we stop looking at the red flags. You know what I'm saying? It's always signs. It's always signs. When you don't see him on your birthday, that's a sign. When you're not with him on holidays, that's a sign. When he got his phone on his hip or real close to him all the time, that's a sign, y'all. It's a sign. You know, you may want to ignore it and pretend like, you know, it's not going on, but that's what's going on. And let me give you some more traits so you can figure out whether or not you're a side chick, okay? If he only calls you during the evening, you're a side chick. If he only comes over to your house or hotels and you never go to his. If you never meet his family or friends. Again, if you never spend holidays or birthdays with them. If he never posts pictures on social media of the two of you. And if he don't even take pictures with you at all. If he rarely if he rarely talks about himself and only wants you to share your stories and your experiences and what's going on in your life, is a red flag. If you rarely go on dates in public or popular venues or restaurants, that's a flag. If he will ghost you sometimes, if he lies a lot, okay, and we know when they lying. We know when they lie. Your gut, your intuition, the Holy Spirit that's on the inside of you. Listen to that. It's our compass. It's our guide. You know when you start to feel uneasy, it's telling you something. Listen to it. When he hardly makes you a priority and makes sacrifices for you, and you feel strong along, you a side piece. When he every so often takes you somewhere just to appease you, just to keep you strung along. Ghosting, okay, I just said what's ghosting. It's when, and yeah, please interact and ask questions, give comments. Ghosting is like when he like disappears. You know, you might be talking to him every day, and you know, all of a sudden he started falling back a little bit. It might be like every other day. It might be like every other day. It might be once a week, you know, once a month. You know, he starts to, you know, try to pull back a little bit. And by this time, you all in. You all in. And just when he started ghosting you, you start panicking. Just like Marge said, poof, you gone. He out of there. He out of there. Why? Because you were only his side piece. He never had no intentions on keeping you around. He was using you. I don't care. Listen, I'm about to keep it real with y'all. I don't care what he was doing and what he was saying. I don't care where he was flying you to. I don't care what he was buying you. I don't care what he was promising you. He only did that to conquer what he wanted to conquer, you know? And then he out of there. He on to the next side piece. Or he go back to work it out with his wife. That's why you got to be careful and not get entangled, as everybody's trying to throw that word out so much now. Entangled in that mess. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you know and you see these signs that you are a side piece, or you're willingly wanting to be a side piece because of some of those perks that you feel that comes along with it, at the end of the day, baby girl, you are the one that's going to come up short. At the end of the day, it might look good at the beginning. You might be feeling yourself. You might be, you know, thinking that you the one and he's going to leave her for you. Listen. 9 out of 10, he is not going to leave his wife for you. Okay? I don't care if he said the papers, they just signed the papers. Did you see him? Did you go down there? Do you know? I don't care if we're separated. How you know? How do you know? You don't. And I don't care separation, you still married. You're not divorced. A person can be separated for 20. I know a person who was separated for 20 years. And I won't go there. I won't tell her business. It's somebody very close to the family. Actually, she is the family man, but I'm not going to put her out there. But people out here separated for a long time. And, you know, they got side pieces. And guess what happens? Guess what happens when he passes away? Guess who gets everything? You think your name in the wheel? 9 out of 10 is not. Because he's had so many side pieces. Usually it's his wife. She get the house, the big house. She get the car. She get the bank account. She get the insurance policy. Let me get an amen. You know what I'm saying? So do not set yourself up. Don't set yourself up, y'all. Know your worth. Know your worth. Why settle for 30% of this, 30% of that, 30% of this, when you can get 100, when you can be the main chick. Not main chick and then he got a sad chick. I mean a main chick across the board, period. End of story. Exclamation mark at the end of it. Because you with a man who doesn't play them games. He really wants to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he only wants you. You do it for him, girl. So he good. He good on anybody else. And speaking of that, the other day, I was watching the Red Table, show, and T.I. and Tiny was on there. And, we heard the stories as well. And again, I'm not about to get into a whole bunch of social media stuff, but I will, for the sake of this conversation, bring it up. And since it was so recent, and he was saying how, he tiptoed, as we all know, and as well as his wife, she's fully aware of it. And he said, Jada asked him, what brought you back? Why did you come back? Why didn't you stay out there? The grass is greener on the other side. Why didn't you go out there and stay? And he said, because those girls, they weren't my best friend. They were my best friend. Yeah, we had fun sexually, but I had a better time with my wife. And then he said that when he got good news, he didn't want to tell them the side piece. He wanted to share that good news with his wife, his rock, his day one, the one that been through it with him, hell and back. He wanted to share with her. That's why he went back. But guys, let me tell you this. Let me school you a little bit. And one of my ex going through it right now, trust and believe. I hope he get to see this. Sometimes it's not worth the risk. Sometimes when you go out there and you want to come back, sometimes she's not there no more. Sometimes she didn't realize who she was. She was reminded of how she lost herself. She was reminded just how she made you feel like a king per your words. She can make somebody else feel like a king who doesn't need a side chick, who doesn't want a side chick, who wants something real, who will not risk losing his good thing because he's afraid of not keeping it once he come back, once he try to slither back in that door again. Because every woman not gonna stay, y'all. Every woman not gonna stay. And you're gonna rest around and lose your whole family, especially if you have children. And then at the end of the day, you ask yourself, was it worth it? Was it worth it? What was it worth it? What was letting her flip these tricks and slide down this pole and do this and do that? Was it worth it? Was it worth losing everything? The answer is no. It wasn't. And then all of a sudden, he the victim. You know what I'm saying? He the victim. You wasn't a victim, and I have no mercy. you wasn't the victim. You put yourself in this situation. And I'm gonna tell you this: I have not been straight up perfect. Okay. The reason why I'm doing this show is because I am sharing the lessons that I have had to learn. Okay. And I have seen some not so cool stuff, growing up. And I've had to grow through that and learn the good, the good, the bad, and the ugly of a relationship. And I had to unlearn some stuff so that I can have healthy relationships. And all of us are the exact same way. Either we have been in an unhealthy relationship ourselves, or our parents was in an unhealthy relationship growing up. And so all of us have seen all of this dysfunction. We've seen this dysfunction and it becomes a part of us. And we bring that into our relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so at some point, y'all, when we know better, we have to get help if you need it. And we have to do better. Don't keep this generational cycle going. Don't have your kids going through the same crap. Who wants to see that? This is not the life that God had for us. The life that God had for you, sweetheart, who a side chick. This not the life He had for you. This not the life He had for you. And we're gonna get more into what God think about it in a minute. And so let me tell you this story. One of the reasons why, and again, the purpose of this show was for me to share my experiences, of what I've learned and some of the things I've been through. And, I hesitated, as you know, to do this show because I did not want to be sharing stuff. But God, put it on my heart and gave me the courage to, be the one to do it. And so here I am. So do I feel comfortable sharing stories with y'all? No, I don't. But I am about to share one of those stories right now. One of the reasons why I was off Facebook for a number of years is because of this story I'm about to tell you. So I was off Facebook because one of the main reasons, this was probably like the icing on the cake, was because I held a position as an administrator at a school and that I no longer work at. And I had the power to turn students away, or to accept them into the private school. And so, I would get propositioned all the time. Okay. I would get, gifts, to let their kid get into school, and I couldn't accept them. So I would, tell them, no, thank you, but no, thank you. That would not take bribes, because if your kid, is not the type that come up in here, they ain't getting in here. I don't care what you put on my desk. Sorry. My loyalty was to them. And so, one gentleman, would come in. It would mainly be guys that would come in my office. And, they would just want to sit and talk and listen to my silly self tell stories and laugh and talk smack. And so one of them would come frequently. I didn't peep it out at first, okay? Because I'm friendly with everybody, talking over here, going over there. I was naive. I wasn't noticing, everything that I should have been noticing until, later. And so I'm like, this guy seems to come in here like every day now or every other day. And I'm like, it seemed like it's picking up. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when I began to notice, because it seemed to be more often. And I'm like, okay, he's one of our dads. I know his wife, who is pregnant. And I know his little boy because I just accepted him, into the school this school year. Now, let me set this guy up, y'all. He was beautiful, okay? Like a Greek god, okay? He was, tall, and I love tall guys, as y'all already know. He was tall with my little 5'2.5" self, but he was tall and like stocky, like football big. And I mean, had the beautiful smile, and Mars saying, "Yummy girl, yes, Lord." And so I knew that, I didn't look at, I knew he was off limits, because of the reasons why I stated. So I quit acknowledging his beauty. You know what I'm saying? I just was, real professional and kept it real clean. Hush, Marge. And kept it real clean, and so he never, came out again with his advancements. We just kept it, up here, kept it up here, kept it clean, kept it PG. And so, so I was okay with that. It took the pressure off me because I didn't want, to figure another situation out. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to figure myself out, let alone try to figure out a guy, another guy. And so anyway, I ended up leaving there. And I didn't tell him that I was leaving there because, for what? He wasn't my man. He wasn't my friend. He was just a parent, and I always have set boundaries for myself. And for the most part, I have followed them. I fell off a couple of times, but for the most part, I followed them. And that was, do not talk to anybody that I work with, and do not talk to anybody that I live nearby, because don't mess with my money, and don't mess with where I lay my head. Okay. So I wouldn't talk to the parents. I wouldn't talk to the dads that would come in there and want to kick it with me, because I'm like, you messing with my money, I ain't messing with you. And so when I left there, I got on Facebook, just to be on there. And so, cause I had mixed feelings about Facebook and social media. And so one day he messaged me. And so I was like, oh, wow, I'm not going to say his name just for confidentiality and to respect his relationship. I will respect his relationship. And so he reached out, and I'm like, oh, hey, Mr. So-and-so, wow, how it's been a minute. Hope everything's good with the kids and the wife and everything. And so a couple of days went by, he chimed back in, making small talk. A couple of days went by, chimed in, small talk. And then he says, Mary, basically, let's cut the crap. You knew when I was coming into your office that, we had some kind of chemistry, some connection going on. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I was babbling, because I'm like, please don't do this to me. Please don't tell me, what I think you're about to tell me. And so he did. And so he made me a proposition. And I was like, is this a side chick proposition? I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh no. So he said, Mary, I kept going in there because I had feelings for you. And I, like everything about you, and I want to be with you. And I said, you cannot, because you're married. I'm sorry. And he said, well, can you just think about this for a minute? I said, it's nothing else to think about. It was really nothing else to talk about, And he said, well, can you think about letting me take care of you? Letting me pay all of your bills. Letting me give you a car so you can go shopping and buy whatever you like. Because he had, a nice career, and he traveled all over the world, and he wanted me to come with him. And so I'm like, woo. And I was going through some money stuff at that time, y'all, and it seemed that Jezebel spirit, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, creeps in and comes along and knows your weaknesses and try to hit you, at that right moment, so you can fall off. You know what I'm saying? So you can be the host of the Jezebel spirit to destroy somebody's relationship or somebody's marriage. And that's basically what happens when you become that side chick. That Jezebel spirit enters you just for you to break up that relationship. And that's how a lot of people have gotten divorces, and a lot of relationships have broken up because of that spirit. And it's a seduction, That's why guys, have to be careful what they listening to and who they listen to and what they looking at, because that seductive spirit begins to lure them in. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, they, hypnotized to it, and they want more of it. They want to see where it leads them. And it leads to destruction. That's where it leads to. It leads to destruction. Okay. Don't fall for the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? And so I did not fall for the okie doke, y'all. And I'm not going to lie. I had to wait 24 hours to make a decision. Okay. Because that's what he gave me. He said, just sleep on it for 24 hours. And I'm like, 24 hours? I'm like, Lord, please help your child. I had to remember who I was. I had to remember what I wanted, what I deserved, what I needed. I had to remember that I was about to destroy a man's family. Do you hear me? I had to remember that I was about to destroy a little boy and a soon-to-be little girl's family and destroy a wife. I wanted no parts of it. I wasn't about to have no blood on my hands. No, thank you. It's not worth it. Did I need that money? Yes, I did. I did need it. And that's where some side chicks get caught up because whatever their need is, he supply it for them. You know, did I want to travel all over the world with him? Yes, I did want to travel, but not with him because I knew I would fall in love with him. He was my type. I knew I would fall in love with him. So I had to sleep on it. And I shouldn't even wait no 24 hours because I knew better. But we all fall victim to temptation. You know, even Jesus was tempted by the enemy. We all fall not fall because some of us don't, because Jesus didn't fall for it, but we are all tempted. And I'm going to move this along and talk about the different temptations that the enemy uses to tempt us to do the wrong thing. And it is for nobody's reward. Nobody wins. The wife doesn't win. The husband doesn't win. And the side piece, you definitely don't win. You know, and I keep hearing people say, you know, I'm winning. You're not winning. You're not winning. You don't even know you're not winning. You're not winning. You're not. And so when I talk about the different so I guess y'all probably want to know what I told him in 24 hours. I told him no. And not only did I tell him no, I ended my Facebook account for about 3 years. That's how serious I was. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to hell for nobody. And I would advise you to have that same kind of mentality. I'm not going to, at the end of the day, when I stand before the Lord, he is not about to ask me, why did I do this and why did I do that? The devil not about to use me not to go to hell. No, thank you. No, thank you. And so God tells us to be careful about our it's three temptations. Let me say that. It's the temptation of lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life. And he says in 1 John 2:16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. Of the world. Okay. It's beyond, hooking up. You know what I'm saying? We're not fighting humans. We're fighting. What is it, Sheila? Is it spirits in Adultery? Is it spirits and principalities? Am I saying that right? That's what we fighting. And people don't even know that, And so in John, it tells us that every adult human in history have been tempted with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. It is important to be aware of these three areas of temptation that we will all be faced with at some point. For every sin we commit will be preceded at least by one of these temptations. Do not, as Ajua dropping right there, do not leave the door open to temptation. Don't even set yourself up for that. Because you know how it's going to end. It's going to be awesome at first, because that's what the enemy do. He look how he tempted Eve and Adam. Eve. Look how he tempted her in the garden. She was already told, do not eat the apple of this tree. You can have everything else. See, we get greedy. Guys, greedy. You know what I'm saying? And then you get lured in and you get suckered in and pulled in, and you done slept with the doggone enemy. And sometimes these side chicks are crazier than a Betsy bug. Do you hear me? Some had to get restraining orders. Some got cases. Some have even ended up on Snap. Or the wife has ended up on Snap. You know, it's a saying, and you guys know this saying, let me find it, that hell has no fury than a woman scorned. Y'all heard of that? It's from a play. Because when a woman finds out that she done loved on this man, made him feel like a king, cooked this food, like my ex told me, all you're supposed to do is cook, clean, and hush your mouth. Y'all, I got so many stories. Of course, you know, we're not together. You know, I don't have no problem taking care of mine, but I am not your servant. Okay, I do this out of love. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have you have to have some respect. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like you're entitled. I'm doing it because I love you. You know what I'm saying? Don't take advantage of your woman. Don't take her kindness for a weakness. Because like I said, one day, and this time, when you catch him with one, it ain't the first one. She ain't the first side chick if you caught her with that one. That's just the one he got caught with. Please believe. Trust me when I say I know. And so when you with a habitual cheater, if you don't leave his ASS alone, I was about to say a bad word. I do have a potty mouth, and God is working on me, y'all. He, like Steve Harvey say, he ain't through with me yet. But know your worth, y'all. You don't have to settle for that kind of foolishness. And it's funny how a guy, he can't handle his woman going out and having no side guy. Oh, no. Talk about a case. Oh, but it's okay for us to accept all of that boys will be boys type of foolishness. Be careful out here, y'all. Choose the life you want to live. Choose the God you want to serve. For me and my house, we serving the Lord. And that's the principles that I'm living by, his word. I'm not out here doing what the world is doing. Okay, let me tell you, one day, this is my last story about myself because I feel like I didn't, share too many. But these teachable moments. This is how that Jezebel spirit works. When you least expect it, me and my guy, we going through what we going through. Even though he done irritated the heck out of me, I still go to the store and get whatever he wants. I'm at Target. Who do I run into? Mr. Universe. I say Mr. Universe because when I was working as an administrator, there was this gentleman that was so beautiful that every teacher of every age, of every color, would go in the hallway just to see him walk by. This is no lie. This is no lie. I was one of them. I was one of them. And we would just look at him. We would just watch him walk by and be like, wow, like there is a God. And guess what? He had a side chick on his beautiful wife. And guess what? She divorced him. She left him. And guess what? That following year, his kid was in my class. By this time, I'm in a relationship. And I'm like, Lord, help your child. Help your child. And so I, of course, did the right thing and didn't make any kind of conversation about how beautiful he was. And I couldn't even look at him during parent-teacher conference. I had to keep my head down. This is who I see in Target. This is who Mr. Universe. I see him in Target. Just when me and my guy, we doing good, but we had a little situation that day. Because the enemy wasn't about to tempt me not on that day. I wasn't falling for the okie doke. And I waited in an area until he checked out, and then I went and bought my item. You have to protect yourself. Don't just sit there and be tempted, because you're not going to be able to handle it. Especially a guy, because y'all get off on, women, flirting with you and, seducing you. You know what I'm saying? And that Jezebel spirit, that's what she does. She's there to seduce you. She's there to seduce you. So don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for the okie doke. And the lust of the flesh is that of temptation to feel physical pleasure from sinful activity, to do something to make the flesh feel satisfied. It is pleasure to the body. Galatians 5:19-21. And the Jezebel spirit, it's a cunning spirit. It's seductive. Okay, it is definitely sent by the enemy in disguise. Okay, and it's one of the nastiest spirits. Okay, it's referred to as an intelligent, lustful spirit, and demon in some cases. And so the woman seduces the man just like Joseph was seduced in Genesis 39:6-23. Joseph, and those who know the word, drop an amen and know the story. Joseph was seduced by Potiphar's wife day to day, in and out, day in and day out. She was throwing herself at this man, and he knew it, and he wouldn't partake in it. He would get out of there. He would dodge her at all costs, because her husband trusted him. He confided in him. He gave him whatever he wanted as a slave. And so he wasn't about to betray him with his wife. But she didn't care, because she had that spirit of lust in her. And so one day he was in the house, and she just gave it her all, and he rejected her, and he ran out of there. That's what we have to do. When a chick who trying to be your side chick, she shouldn't even get that close to you to become a side chick. Real talk. And you shouldn't, your trifling butt don't even need to entertain her and think about her being a side chick. Because what if your wife was doing that to you? What if she went out there to get a side guy? Would that be okay? No. Your heart will be broke, and you really wouldn't even be able to handle it. You wouldn't. Don't put her in that situation. Don't put her in that situation. And real quick, I'm going to talk about what God thinks about marriage. In Proverbs 6:32, it says, "But the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys himself." Hebrews 13:14, "Give honor to marriage and remain faithful to one another in marriage." Ephesians 5:25, "For husbands, this means love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her." Genesis 2:24, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Let me hear an amen, y'all. And in Proverbs 3:31-10, it says, "An excellent wife, who can find her? She is far more precious than jewels." If you got a good woman at home, don't fall for the temptation and risk losing her. Don't do that. Don't do that. And so it says, Proverbs 18:22, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." You gonna risk having favor from the Lord because of some little side piece? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. We gotta smarten up. We gotta wise up. It's 2020 and people still talking about side chicks and girls willingly wanting to be one. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Don't you know? Do y'all believe in karma? Do you believe in karma? Because please believe when I say that it will come back to you. It will come back to you. And you don't, it'll come when you least expect it. Don't fall for the okie doke. I can't keep saying that, y'all. Don't fall for it. Be strong in the Lord. Don't let that flesh lead you down the wrong path. Operate in your spirit, not in your flesh. Your flesh is going to have you catch a disease that you cannot cure. Now, let me end here because I could talk about this all night. To the side chick, this is for you. Apparently, there is something missing. There is something, because every woman and any woman will not allow herself to just be anybody's side piece because she values herself. She knows her self-worth. She has self-esteem, okay? And I'm going to give you some nuggets to take with you before I go. Give me 5 minutes, y'all. Self-worth will set rules that tell others how to treat you. It will show others what you will and what you won't accept because of how you treat yourself. It will also teach people what to expect from you. A man know who he can turn into a side chick. They not stupid. Let me tell you, my uncle, and I won't tell you which one, I got a few. We were at a family party. He looked over at the room and saw this beautiful woman and said, "Gee, what's up with her?" I said, "Who? Her? That's so-and-so's sister." You know what he said? He kept looking at her and he said, "Oh, her self-esteem too high. I need to pick somebody with lower self-esteem." What? Are you serious? Lower self-esteem? That means that he can instantly tell who has a high and a low self-esteem by looking at him and watching him? Yes, they can, ladies. If you didn't know, now you know. They will prey on you because they know that they can do it. They know you got some issues. They know you feel a certain way about yourself. You're not as confident about yourself. And so they will use you. Don't allow yourself to be used. You're not nobody's doormat. Do you hear me? You're not a doormat. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is having self-respect, confidence in one's own ability. We know our self-worth. Okay. We put personal value on ourselves. This don't have nothing to do with money. We appreciate and we actually like ourselves. Okay. And we're stable. Okay. And we have appraisal for our own appearance and beliefs and emotions and behavior. Okay. A woman like that, she ain't falling for the okie doke. Matter of fact, she gonna run his ass right back home to his wife. That's what she gonna do. A woman with self-esteem and self-worth. She gonna say, "Boy, bye. Do I look like I'm about to do that with you? Do I look like I want this headache of having somebody else's man bringing me all their problems and bringing me drama and possibly ruining my life with the drama?" No, that kind of woman, she not falling for it. She not falling for it. So lastly, know yourself. Identify what you like, what you need, what you want out of life. Awareness of your past and its effects on you today. Pay attention to how you treat yourself. Okay? Care for yourself. Act as your own cheerleader. Okay? You care about what you look like. You diet, you exercise, you make sure you get proper sleep. You nourish your spirit. You recognize the power of your inner voice. This is a person knowing their self-worth, knowing their self-esteem, having self-esteem. Respect yourself. You're upholding your own values. You trusting in yourself without sacrificing yourself to please others. Yes, Amanda, be your own best friend. Accept yourself. Acknowledge limits and imperfections. Accept your mistakes and forgive yourself. If you have been a side chick, forgive yourself and don't do the crap no more. Repent from that. Ask God to forgive you so that you don't have to experience the karma that could be potentially coming your way because of your transgressions. You know, I have had to ask for forgiveness for certain things that I have done in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? None of us are perfect, but when you know better, you do better. You don't keep doing it. Accept yourself. Acknowledge limits and imperfections. Again, accept mistakes and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Do you hear me? Don't carry that weight. Don't carry that weight. If you did wrong, you did wrong. Work it out. Go to therapy. And ask the Lord for forgiveness and forgive yourself. I keep saying that because sometimes forgiveness is the hardest thing we can do. We can forgive other people, but it's hard to forgive ourselves. I struggle with it. I had to get help with it, forgiving myself for just making dumb decisions, you know. And so love yourself is the last one. Treat yourself as well as you treat others. Don't treat him better than you treat yourself. Accept your strengths and compliments. Some people have a hard time with compliments, y'all. They really do. Accept them. Accept them. It's okay to get a compliment. It's all right. Even if you don't feel worthy of it. Fake it till you make it. Just say thank you anyway until you learn how to receive a compliment. And know your strengths, y'all. Know your strengths. And be okay. Thank you, Sister Davis. God is calling, has a calling on your life, Mary Bird. Girl, you see he using me. I didn't sign up for it, okay? But I'm letting him use me. I'm being obedient because he told me to. And so care about your own future. Care about your own future. Do not let this man determine what your future is. What? That's why I had to walk away from certain situations because the only person I'm worshiping is Jesus Christ. Okay. Yes, I take care of my man. Yes, I treat him like a king, but the only man I worship is the Lord. Don't get it twisted, men. Okay. So, y'all, if you don't take nothing else away from this, treat people like you want to be treated. Ladies, if you want a husband, how you going to get a husband and you sleeping with somebody else's? Real talk. And put yourself in her shoes. If you haven't done that before, put yourself in her shoes. Imagine what that would be like. You know what I'm saying? That's a horrible feeling. I have watched a family member go through that. I have listened to a phone ringing in the middle of the night while she laying in bed with her husband. I have heard his pager go off in the middle of the night. I have sat with her and held her while she cried. I saw the dismantle. I saw the dismantle of her family because of side chicks. You do not know what you're doing. You do not know the effects that you having on other people. It doesn't just stop being selfish. You and the husband. And if you listen to this and you have a situation that you in right now, tomorrow, get out of it. Tonight, get out of it before you do even more collateral damage. You hurt the wife. You hurt yourself. You hurt those kids. Years beyond, the situation being over. They're still hurting. I'm still hurting. Y'all, I gotta stop here before I start talking, giving names. It's not cool, y'all. It's not cool to be a side chick, and it's not cool to destroy somebody else's family for your own selfish temporary gain, because it's just temporary. It's not gonna last. Men, do the right thing. Go home to your wife. Go home. Whatever void you in fantasy you trying to fill with the side chick, have a conversation with your wife. Tell her what your needs are. Go to therapy. I went to therapy. Go to therapy. It's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes it get this negative connotation of going to get help. It's nothing wrong with that. The smart people go get help. The dumb ones don't. And then their marriage is destroyed. If you want to save your marriage, go to get help. And it may be able to be salvaged. You know? So let me end right there, y'all. I didn't even know that was going to come up out of me, you know, but I speak with so much passion. I speak with my heart, y'all, because I want us to live our best lives.
Well, that concludes the Becoming the Best Version of You with Gigi show. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, y'all. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and check out our other inspiring videos. Until next time, toodles.